Welcome to part 2 of attempting to travel on every BC Ferries, where you get to find out how everything went terribly wrong. If you haven't seen part 1, click the card up here and watch that one first. So let's pick up where we left off in part 1. So my brother and I got off the ferry and we walked to our hotel in Prince Rupert. The hike to the hotel was pretty nice, but it was in no way as nice as walking along the roads in Haida Gwaii. As we entered Prince Rupert, there's this ravine and there's just tons of shopping carts thrown in it. It was something you'd expect to see off of Trailer Park Boys. And pretty much everywhere we went, anytime there was like a little ravine or a hill, there was just so many shopping carts just like chucked in there. I don't know why. It seems that if you're in Prince Rupert and you have a shopping cart and you pass a ravine, you're like legally required to throw it in there, because that's pretty much, we just saw so many of them. So when we arrived at our hotel, we got to our room and we were shocked by how hot our room was. As we entered, I think that they had left the heating on at max and it was just blowing out heat. So we were already in our jackets and everything and we're super warm from our hike. And then we got into our room, which is basically like a sauna.
So we came into our hotel room and the thing it was on heat and it was set to 32. And it was so warm in here.
So when I was planning the trip, I was expecting us to like maybe stay at one night in Prince Rupert and then catch our next ferry down to Port Hardy. Because the ferries are so infrequent, we actually had to stay 3 nights in Prince Rupert. So up until then, everything was going as planned. Until the morning of the 18th, when I looked at my phone and realized I had a few messages from the bus companies that were going to take us down Vancouver Island. And unfortunately, those emails weren't good. They were cancellation emails. I was so disappointed when I saw that email because I knew what it meant. I had spent so much time booking everything and planning it and organizing it. And then I was just like, no. So the email said that they were suspending their operations. That meant that we had no way of getting down Vancouver Island, which was very crucial to our trip. The bus route that really affected us the most was the one from Port McNeill that was going to take us all the way down to Campbell River. It's a long distance 2-hour bus ride and it kind of connects 2 towns together. So I called my mom and we tried to sort out anything we could. We contacted people who lived on the island and asked them like, is there any other way to get down this part of the island without taking a bus? Like, is there any other things that you can use to get down there? Like, do you have a moped or something we could rent, you know? But unfortunately, they were like, yeah, there's not really that many ways of getting down the island. We were really stuck. Like, this was looking really bad. So unfortunately, it looks like we're gonna have to cancel our trip. We got an email today saying that the bus that takes us from Port McNeill to Campbell River got cancelled, so there's no other way for us to get there. It's a 2.5 hour long bus ride, or even longer. And it's about 100, how many kilometers is it?
I think it was like 40 or something.
40? No, it's longer than that, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Okay, whatever. It's a lot of kilometers. Anyways, we decided that the best thing to do would be to cancel the trip, which was very sad. Very, very sad. It was a real shame to like end the trip so early, only 3 ferries in. But there was also some other news about some of the other ferry routes shutting down too. So that way, even if we did manage to get down to Campbell River, we still might have not been able to go on the ferries because they would have been like cancelled and not running. So we realized, unfortunately, that we had to cancel the trip. I was able to get refunds from the bus company too. Since we didn't buy the refundable ticket, they were just going to give us some credit and we could use it to buy another ticket some other time. But I really wanted the money back, so I kind of wrote to them saying, hey guys, we didn't cancel on you, you canceled on us. So like, if you could just give us a full refund, that would be really nice. And nicely enough, they did. Because their refund policy was like, you don't get a refund unless you buy the refund ticket if you decide to cancel. And I was like, well, I didn't decide to cancel. You guys decided to cancel on us. So overall, I didn't lose any money, which was really great. That would have been really bad. That would have made the trip even worse if I like couldn't cancel any accommodations or anything either. So after canceling everything, we then booked a flight from Port Hardy to YVR so that we could get home. So our new plan involved us taking the ferry from Prince Rupert down to Port Hardy. I was really excited about this route, so I was glad that we got to still go on this one. It's a 24-hour sailing that goes along some really nice views. So I was really looking forward to that. And then we'd stay in Port Hardy for 2 nights and then we'd fly back to YVR. So after organizing that, we looked around Prince Rupert some more. We went to the Sunken Gardens. And then we got some really nice gourmet sushi because nothing makes you feel better than getting some sushi. So that cheered us up a little bit. So even though we had to change up the trip, we still had to day in a bit in Prince Rupert. So we were gonna enjoy those days as well. We weren't gonna be like, oh, depressed and all sad and like not have a fun time while we were there. So for our last full day, we decided to find a nice hike we could do and go and do that. So on the 19th, we walked around Prince Rupert, spent a really long time trying to find a place to get breakfast that wasn't Subway. At this point, some restaurants were open and some were shutting down, and it was just like really hit or miss whether they'd be open or not. Some were only doing takeout, some you could sit down in, like it was really random, so it was quite difficult to find places to eat. So then we went and hiked along Rushbrook Trail, which was really nice. It's this trail that's kind of made from an old train track, like the trail is between the metal railings. I don't know if that's what they're called, but you get the picture. There's a trail and it's on top of where a train track was. Sweet, let's see if we can get one of these actually. I've always wanted one of these. Oh look, I actually pulled it out. Look at that. We actually got a nail. So here we go. We could, if we like had a forge, we could turn these into like knives and stuff like that. Keep on walking, that was good. It's a pretty nice hike. It's not that long. I think we actually hiked longer to get to the trail than we did hiking along the trail. Because it was quite far away from our actual hotel. We did a lot of hiking on this trip and we did even more when we were in Port Hardy, so I'll get to that in part 3, but like we did a major hike on that day. But because everything else was getting shut down, there wasn't really much else to do but go and hike, so that's why I think we went on so many. On the way back, we walked past this Christmas tree farm, which is like all fenced in with like barbed wire, and it made me think it was like a Christmas tree jail. Also, while we were in Prince Rupert, we saw Bill Murray Street, so we got a nice picture of that. And then we also saw some really good Canadian vandalism. Oh yeah, sorry, eh? So we had a lot of fun that day. That evening though, things got even more worrying because there was rumors that more ferries were shutting down or their routes were being suspended. So I had to call BC Ferries and like check with them that the one from Prince Rupert down to Port Hardy was still running. And the guy was basically like, as far as I know, it is, so hopefully it will be. I can't really confirm anything, so it was pretty risky. Like, we were getting pretty worried that we were gonna end up getting stuck in Prince Rupert and like have no way to get home. So then on the morning of the 20th, we left Prince Rupert and walked back to the ferry terminal where we would take our 24-hour BC Ferries sailing all the way from Prince Rupert down to Port Hardy, which was the last ferry, unfortunately, of our journey. But luckily enough, the ferry didn't get cancelled and we were able to take it down to Port Hardy. So once all this COVID stuff is over, I do want to eventually finish the trip and go on every BC Ferries along the coast of BC. Just everyone you meet, just like, yeah, I've been on every BC Ferries, you know, I'm pretty cool. So that will be the end of part 2. Stay tuned for part 3. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like and please subscribe.